Hey, 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 what's up, everybody? I hope you're having a nice evening if you're watching this at night. Well, whatever. So, I saw these two documentaries, or rather, was given. I have a whole lot of screeners that I'm trying to get through, but I noticed that I had two documentaries about two classic films of sorts. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, classic. Megalopolis, ambitious film of late, but done by the great Francis Ford Coppola. And I watched both these documentaries last night. So I wrote the reviews today, and I'm going to give you them right about now. So, when I had the first email or two about the film Chain Reactions, I thought, I don't know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is great and all, but there have been enough documentaries about the film. But then I realized it was directed by the same guy who did the second documentary called 78 52, which was an incredibly novel look at the filmmaking process and revelatory beyond dropping praise on the film. So, Alexander O. Phillip is all good with me. Here we get five people talking about what the film meant for them, and they range in race, gender, and territory. We've got two women, a Japanese guy, and a Japanese individual, as well as an Australian. It shows that people interpret and experience art slightly differently, and this documentary would have been an interesting approach to another, even lesser movie based on the concepts and caliber of the subjects. We get Patton Oswalt, Takashi Miike, Alexandra Heller Nichols, Stephen Kane, and Karen Kusama looking at the same shots, but layering their thoughts with some different impressions. Patton is really funny. You get a sense that TCM helped inform the brutality of Miike's earlier cinema. Stephen Kane talks about loving the primacy of it. Alexander talks about the horrible Australian VHS tape, and it informs Kusama's filmmaking as well. So, I saw Karen Kusuma's film Destroyer at TIFF whenever it came back. It came out like 2018, 2019, I believe. And, that's a gritty gangster movie with Nicole Kidman. And at first, I was kind of wasn't sure what she was going to say, but now it all makes sense. It all makes sense. And of course, Alexandra Heller Nichols is legendary in the boutique Blu-ray label community, given many commentary tracks, writing essays, doing visual essays, talking about the cult cinema that we all love. For those of us who consume these Blu-rays, that is. And then I think, Stephen King and Takashi Miike and Patton Oswalt kind of speak for themselves. Legendary. And look at that. I've interviewed Takashi Miike, and of those five people, I've interviewed one of those people, 20% of them. That's not bad. Not bad at all. I really enjoyed Chain Reactions, and I highly recommend 7852 if you can track it down as well. It largely focuses on the shower scene, and it's really interesting that they would be so hyper fixated on just one scene of a legacy movie. I like that, and I like this one too. And now we're going to talk about Megadoc. Megadoc was an interesting thing for me. Usually, I would never watch a documentary about making another film without having seen that film, but this one was too good to pass up on. The film focus is on Megalopolis, an ambitious project by the great Francis Ford Coppola, but with the reputation of being a real stinker, a turkey, a pretentious malarkey fest. The film now has a mock-along cult audience like The Room. This documentary is probably the last straw to get me to go out and see the film, which I had previously been greatly anticipating. All that changed when people at the Cannes Film Festival, who had mostly trustworthy opinions, told me how cringe this was. This documentary shows the usually quiet revolts from the cast and crew. Shia LaBeouf is highly critical, while we see the look of hatred on the faces of the crew. What a shame. But Coppola's passion of using theater-style exercises in the beginning is definitely infectious. If you didn't know that Megalopolis has a bad reputation, you'd see a real development in the story where the actors are like Francis soldiers ready to do whatever he says, to then eventually realize that this movie will be horrible. Regardless, Francis Ford Coppola is a giant in cinema, and following him on his recent cinematic endeavor is important. I guess he at least is a case study in Tarantino's theory that older directors lose their game. Uh, Especially older directors who have not been really making too many movies lately. Ridley Scott, Martin Scorsese, they have a film out quite often. But Francis, it's been a minute. I believe the last one was Tetro, and that's like 2006, 2007. Could be wrong. I don't know. But it's not the '70s anymore. It's been a interesting ride for Francis, and Megadoc really captures that moment, I guess. I certainly found it very entertaining seeing John Voight, Dustin Hoffman, all these people being interviewed on the projects. Giancarlo Esposito. You get to see archival footage of the auditions from like 2001, or table reads, I should say, with Robert De Niro, Uma Thurman. Yeah, last night was really good. It was a really fun double bill of documentaries, and so um, Chain Reactions is being released in the States right now. Hopefully, it comes up to Canada soon. It'll be released on Friday, I believe, and then Megadoc is coming here at the Mayfair Theater in Ottawa, Ontario, on sometime next week, maybe Tuesday. Right. Anyways, and Megalopolis is played on Sunday, so I might actually go see it. It's this weird thing. Francis refused to let it stream anywhere. You just have to see it theatrically. So I feel like I'm sort of being taken hostage here. I think I kind of have to pay some cash to see a poopy movie. Anyways, these two movies are not poopy, and I'm done talking for the evening. Peace out, y'all.